Everyone wants to be loved. Everyone wants to feel valued in a relationship, and they want reassurance that lets them know their partner feels as deeply about them as they do for their partner. But the reality is that sometimes that can be difficult to decipher. And we don't always either pick up on the signs that tell us that they are or they're not, or we're not willing to accept it for what it is. Now, in discussing the idea of when a man is into you, here's something I found on the internet that I wanted to read to you. I don't know which book this is from. I found it randomly, but it's an interesting topic that I want to shed some light on as we go deeper into this video, okay? So, this excerpt, again, I don't know what book this is. It reads, when a man is truly interested in you, there will be no need for you to do the pursuing. Men are born to pursue women. Yes, you can pursue a man if you want to, but in most cases, that's just an obvious sign that he's not into you. It's not natural for a man to sit back and let the woman do all of the work. For a man who claims to like you to sit back and allow you to do all of the calling, texting, dating arrangements, talks about the future, etc., it's pretty obvious where you stand in that man's life. When a man really wants you, you won't have to chase after him like he's some celebrity who barely has time for a fan. You will be his priority. Now, I don't disagree, okay? I definitely believe that when a man is truly into you, he will prioritize you. And he will be willing to pour into you. And he's not going to make you have to chase him. But the reason why I wanted to read that excerpt to you is because I feel that many women forget what the man is going through emotionally when he's into you. And what we're talking about today specifically is the secret thoughts he's having. Because in these secret thoughts, it will shed light on the deeper inner workings of a man who is in love or who is into a woman. And some of the things that's going on with him may surprise you or may cause you to realize how he becomes very fragile in this state. All right? And the littlest thing can start to throw things off with this man. So let's get right to it. And before I do, be sure to subscribe to my channel and like this video. So number one, when he's really into you, one of those thoughts is, does she really love me? Now, granted, if you guys are not in a relationship yet, it may be too soon for him to be wondering about you loving him. But let's face it, it's still a thought. And if you are in a relationship, it's damn sure a thought. And the reason why I wanted to speak about this is because, again, I think one of the things that women overlook is how when a man is truly into a woman and is emotionally vulnerable, it can make a lot of men become insecure, or at the very least, teeter on the line of insecurity, because there's this greater concern of how you feel about him, how you view him, all these different things. He becomes much more sensitive now to the things that you have, to the things that you say and the things that you do. Some of you may have noticed. Have you ever experienced a situation where you've known a man, maybe you were friends, maybe you guys were just getting to know each other, and initially he seemed very sure of himself, very confident, masculine guy, right? And let's just say in this scenario, he's a guy who can get women easily. So he never seems to be this insecure type. And if anything, all these qualities I just named for you is partially what attracted you to this guy. So now you finally crossed that line with him and you engage in a relationship or engage in the expressions of emotions, right? And now you start seeing that he's being all extra sensitive. he's starting to not take jokes the same way he used to take jokes. He seems to be, checking on you in a way that is borderline uncomfortable, and you're like, what the hell's going on? And you almost feel like he tricked me. Like, what just happened? This is not the same guy you signed up for. But it is. It is. It's just that when he's into you, he becomes so much more emotionally fragile and sensitive. And so going back to the thought of, does she love me? What happens is, in this state, this man is looking for reassurance that you are as into him as he is into you. And for some women, a lot of women, the idea might be, well, if I've chosen to actually move forward and be in a relationship with this man, he should know that I do love him. Not exactly. Not exactly, because I think the other issue that women tend to overlook is how many men have gotten their heart broken. And not just simply heartbroken by a woman they were trying to pursue who wasn't interested. No, I mean with a woman who said, I love you, with a woman who embraced being with this man, yet betrayed him, yet mistreated him, yet played him, whatever the case may be. And so, as a man has experienced more in his life, and as he's gotten older, there's a very good chance he's had some kind of heartbreak on some level, some kind of disappointment and hurt. And therefore, again, just as many women need a level of reassurance from that man that he is as into them as he's saying with his words, she wants to see words and actions be consistent. Well, so does he. And the unfortunate reality, going back to that excerpt that I read you, is that when we talk about you don't need to pursue him, let's reword that. You won't need to chase him, as that excerpt said. He will never make it a one-sided relationship with you when he's really into you. But you do have to make an effort. You do have to be willing to show him through the actions that he needs to see that you are as into him as he is into you. All right? And so you want to be mindful of that, because again, when he's genuinely into you, yes, he is wondering and questioning, does she truly love me? Is she really into me? And unfortunately, I'm going to add this one more thing before we move on to the next point. The unfortunate reality, because it happens to women a lot, but it happens to men as well, are the negative outside influences. And so be mindful of the people who are around him. Because again, misery loves company. And sometimes miserable people, men and women, start to plant seeds of doubt into people's spirits, into people's minds. And that's why it's very important, one, for him as a man and just us as individuals to guard ourselves against these types of negative influences. But this is why we also have to strengthen and fortify our relationships with each other to make sure that outside influences cannot undermine what we have, because we've poured enough, or we pour enough consistently into each other that we feel confident about what we have in front of us. But there's a lot of people who don't have that confidence. And it may not be because you as a woman don't love the man. It's just that maybe you struggle with certain levels of expression. Maybe you feel like, he should be doing the work. And it's like, no, you got to make sure you're meeting him halfway. And for some of you who say, well, I do, great. But not every woman does. And that's why I have to highlight that point. But let's keep this moving and get to the next one. Hey, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check this one out right here, and I'll see you there. Everyone wants to be loved. Everyone wants to feel valued in a relationship, and they want reassurance that lets them know their partner feels as deeply about them as they do for their partner. But the reality